Hello, my name is Susan Winkelstein, and I'm a funeral director with Chicago Jewish Funerals. We're about to begin the services. Mr. Thomas Simons. Officiating today is Rabbi Barry Axler.
Our Jewish funeral services begin with the Kriyah, or tearing the black ribbon. It's a custom that dates back to two biblical moments. First, when Jacob saw what he thought was the blood of Joseph on his coat of many colors, the Bible says that he tore his clothes. And then many years later, when King David learned that his eldest son, Avshalom, had been killed, in his grief he fell to the floor and also tore his clothes. So this expression of tearing has been part of our Jewish funeral service now for over 3,000 years. And the external tearing has come to symbolize the broken fabric and the broken hearts in our lives. And Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam dayan ha'emet. O blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who is the one judge of all truth. It's the measure of a man. And not how did he die, but how did he live? And not what did he gain, but what did he give? These are the units to measure the worth of a man as a man, regardless of his birth. Now, what was his station, but had he a heart? And how did he play his God-given part? Was he ever ready with a word of good cheer to bring back a smile or banish a tear? Now, what was his shrine, nor what was his creed, but had he befriended those really in need? And now, what did the sketch in the newspaper say, but how many were sorry when he passed away? He is gone. And you can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind and be empty and turn your back, or you could do what he would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. At times like this, words fail us, and so we turn to our Psalms, and if you can, please join me in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anoints my head with oil, and my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. A life well lived cannot be diminished by death. The beauty, the guidance, and the inspiration it gave us will shine on as brightly as ever. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but life leaves a memory no one can steal. Those we love remain part of us. Our loved ones leave the world, but never our hearts. Thomas is a part of who you are, of how you see the world, of how you live and give. and those priceless gifts are yours forever. There is a very poignant and beautiful Jewish saying that says that we mourn in three ways. We mourn with tears, we mourn in silence, and we mourn with song. You are mourning with tears. You are certainly mourning in the silence of your hearts. We have gathered here this afternoon, to recall, to remember, and to commemorate the wonderful song that was the life of Thomas Simons. In describing the passing of our first matriarch, Sarah, or our biblical figure, Joseph, our Bible says that Sarah lived to be 127 years old, and Joseph lived to be 110 years old. And what the Bible doesn't say is that Sarah died, or that Joseph died, but that Sarah lived, and Joseph lived, underscoring that what is most important in life is how we live and not how we die. Thomas lived a wonderful life of love for his wife Shelley, a life of love for his children Ellen and Jeffrey, and Abby and Adam, a life of love for his grandchildren Justin and Ryan, and Benjamin and Jacob and Rachel, a life of love for his sister Carol, and a life of love for his special friend Chris, a life of love for his extended family and his many friends. Many of us are familiar with that biblical scene in which Moses is standing before the burning bush, a bush that was on fire but not consumed. As I learned from Abby and Ellen, Thomas Simon was just the opposite. He consumed us with his fire, with his friendship, with his passion, and with his love. Our tradition teaches us that when we pass on, we leave behind only two things. And they are two Hebrew words that not only sound alike, but they come from the same root. One is Yerusha, the other is Morasha. Now, Yerusha are your material assets. They're your bank accounts or your real estate holdings or your stocks and bonds. But Morasha is the essence of who you are. The characteristics about yourself that you leave behind for family and friends who love you and who will miss you. I don't know, nor do I care to know what Thomas's Yerusha was. But I can tell you what his Morasha was. It was an unconditional love for his family. It was a caring for others, and it was a real zest for life. You know, in the very first words of the Bible, it says, "Let there be light," and there was light. But it wasn't until day 4 that God creates the sun and the moon. So if God creates the sun and the moon on day 4, what was this light that God was talking about in the very first sentences? So I believe that light was the light of God. And since the world wasn't complete, God put that light into each and every one of us. And when we lead good lives and when we care for others, that light shines forth and it makes this world better. Every single person here knows that Thomas had that light. And when it shone forth and hit you, it inspired you to do better and to be better. You know, on the drive up today from the city, a song came over the radio. It was a 1960s hit song that was written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, and was sung by Dionne Warwick. And it touched me very much. It was entitled, "For How Can I Forget You When There Is Always Something There to Remind Me." Whether it's a moment or an experience or whatever, there will always be something there to remind you of Thomas. As the song concludes, "For how can I forget you when there is always something there to remind me? I was born to love you, and I will never be free because you'll always be a part of me. I want to share with you the words of Father Michael Judge. Father Judge was a chaplain to the New York City Fire Department, and he died saving lives in 9/11. About a month or two before he died, Father Judge wrote, "Hold on to your memories, hold on to your moments, and hold on to each other." Hold on to your memories of Thomas. Hold on to those precious moments that you spent with him. You are a remarkable family, and the best gift that you can give Thomas is to hold on to each other. Thomas's song may be over, but the melody of his life and his love lingers on. His passing cannot diminish the important ways that he touched your lives, and your grief cannot take away the happiness that you shared. In your memories of him, may you find comfort. In your family and your friends, may you find love. And in your hearts, may you find the strength to help you through this very difficult time. So may the memory of Thomas Simons always be a blessing to us. May it inspire us to do better and to be better. And in his honor, may God grant you comfort and peace in this very difficult time. Amen. It's now my honor to call upon daughters Abby and Ellen, who have some thoughts and memories to share with us. Whatever.
Please bear with us as we try to read this. This highlights Thomas Simons' life, but it's a little long because we wanted to make sure all the memories were covered. Starting with our dad's childhood. He was born March 3rd, 1937. His dad passed away when he was young. His mom had to go back to work, so he was basically raised by his sister, who was 10 years older. He was the class clown. Would you expect anything less? His sister constantly had to go to the principal's office all the time for him. Mind you, she was valedictorian of her class, and there is our dad. They could not have been more opposite. Our dad was a picky eater. He hated peas and eggs. His mom would make him eggs every morning because she thought he loved eggs. He was afraid to tell her, so he would stuff them in his pocket until he could find the closest garbage can on his way to school. The eggs were named after him, Tommy eggs. After high school, he became a successful college student at DePaul and Northwestern. He majored in journalism. He served as a journalist in the Korean War and taught English to the local residents. He met our mom, Shelley, at the Black Hawk restaurant while waiting in line. He was so shy, it took so much courage for him to ask her out. They both worked at competing publishing firms, so they were not really allowed to date, but somehow managed. That is when Dad started his own public relations firm, writing newsletters in another company called Thomas Premiums. We both loved to go to work with him downtown and play secretary. Of course, we were put to work as well, stuffing what seemed like 1,000 envelopes. We also got the benefits of Thomas Premiums, where he created gadgets and toys. Some of our favorites were Stick Estate, the Kissing Bake, and a Japanese bicycle that folded up into a bag. Watching Dad work inspired me to go into journalism. He helped me with many papers and projects along the way. Abby, on the other hand, would never let Dad see her papers because she knew they would be ripped apart, and back in those days, you didn't want to retype a whole paper. We remember waiting for Dad to come home, and we promptly ate dinner every night at 6:30. That was a special time just to talk about our day. We always dreaded his birthdays because we knew we were going to have tongue. Thank goodness those days stopped when we grew older and left for college. Every Saturday morning, we would look forward to Mickey Mouse pancakes and different shaped ones. We would also get to eat fried bologna. His favorite sandwich he made for himself would consist of fried bologna, bananas, and peanut butter. That was Dad for you. We have so many fond memories of all our vacations we took. The car trips were the best. It never failed. Every single time he would end up driving on a one-way street going the wrong way. We played games in the car, sang songs, counted how many cars were there, and the best was trying to find license plates with each state. My favorite memory of the car rides was listening to the Blue Brothers in the car on A-Track. That was Dad's favorite. Of course, we would hear the usual, "If you girls don't behave, I'm going to kick you out of the car." A lot of these vacations ended up with one of us in the emergency room or someone got sick, but Dad, the man that he was, just took care of everything. May or may not have been too happy about it, but what a caring, loving father he was.
Hi. Mom was usually the one that disciplined us. If Dad got involved, oh boy, you knew you better run for the hills. One unique thing about him, my dad never swore. Dad was known for his quick wit and dry sense of humor. Anyone that knew him, the first thing they mentioned is how funny he was, and they all loved talking to him. Everyone always said to my dad he should have been a comedian. The things he would say would have everyone laughing. He scared us every Halloween with his gorilla mask. If you could see it, it was really frightening. With the grandkids, he would play tricks with them, snapping his fingers on his nose, like that, and fingers together with both hands, snapping his two middle fingers, and putting a spoon on his nose, which really cracked them up. Justin would always say, "Papa, you're always so silly." He taught Ben and Jake how to play a mean game of checkers. Jake had that perfected. He loved his family very deeply. He would do anything for any of us. His grandchildren meant the world to him, and he showed it by his license plate that said, "Papa, high five." The pictures hanging proudly in his apartment with all the kids having their hands up, showing high fives on top of the car. Favorite family games were Rummy Cube and Monopoly. That tradition carried over into my household. Mom and Dad always loved to play Boggle and Scrabble together. One of Dad's favorite things to do was reading, especially Stephen King books and history. Jake inherited his love for history through his papa. Dad loved taking pictures and was once a photographer. The pictures are so beautiful, they are hanging in his apartment. Rachel inherited her love for photography through my dad, her papa. Dad loved watching the Bear game, going to art shows, museums, Northwestern games, poker, playing golf every Sunday, and the opera. My boys, Ben and Jake, inherited his love for poker. He was not a big drinker, but did love his cigars when we were younger, and occasionally put out his lovely smelling pipe. Another great funny sweet thing my dad loved to do if we were hurt, he would give a stuffed animal as a gift and put a Band-Aid on your boo-boo. He will be buried with a bandaged bear in his casket. My dad became a quote-unquote Uber driver when Chris and I got our concussions at the same time. He would also drive with Ellen and Justin into the city for Justin's doctor appointments. He would sit with the kids if we had to go out. Dad always offered his help and said he was always available. A lot of times he would change his schedule just to drive us somewhere and help. Dad never wanted anyone to worry about him. He was the biggest worrywart out of everyone. You would call him and he would say, "I'm fine," and either he would tell you incredible stories about his life or just talk about us and our families. Jewish traditions were particularly important to Dad. He enjoyed leading the family seders and prayers during the holidays. He liked explaining the meanings of holidays to his grandchildren. Dad also taught Sunday school and confirmation classes for 25 years. We were his students for confirmation. Ellen hid in the back, and I participated. Sundays were always family days. My dad would always drive into the city to pick up Grandma and Nana to bring them back to our house. We will always remember our special Sundays. Justin's memories are he loved when he went over to Papa's to play with cars and trains. He was excited to see Papa at his karate tournaments. Lastly, he loved getting monkey carts from him. He will greatly be missed. He was a devoted son, husband, father, grandfather, and special friend. May you rest in peace now, Dad, as you're back with Mom and your family. We love you so much. Your witty sense of humor, stories, love, and advice will always remain in our hearts.
That was really very moving and very beautiful. And now grandson Ryan has some thoughts to share with us.
Everyone. Papa was someone I always looked up to in my life. He had so many insightful stories about his life that he always loved sharing with me. He understood the importance of family, knowledge, and compassion. He taught us the importance of enjoying each other's company, sharing stories, and spreading kindness around us. At family holidays, Papa would always be a spark of positivity in the room. He always loved a good joke, and he knew exactly how to make everyone laugh at the dinner table. One of our long-running jokes involved monkeys. Whenever it was his birthday, I'd send him a card with a monkey on it, and whenever it was my birthday, he'd send a new one back. This went on for years, and it never got old. I always knew what to expect when I saw a card in the mail from Papa. When I was little, he would give me stuffed monkeys, and I eventually accumulated a whole collection, and now whenever I see a monkey or a card with a monkey on it, I think of him. I'll always remember Papa for the little bits of joy he brought me. Papa left us with the gift, his positivity, knowledge, and unconditional love. Thank you.
And thank you, Ryan. And now I want to share with you some words from special friend Chris. If there was anyone to have a wish for a best friend, it was Tomek, which was my Polish way to call him. He was humorous. His jokes lightened my day and eased the difficult decisions that I was facing lately. I value his devoted friendship. He was my best buddy. I always looked forward for him to visit me. We shared dinners, walked, talked, and enjoyed each other's company. Always gentleman, compassionate, caring, and mentor, offering help any possible way. Nothing was too difficult for him to do for his daughters or me. He was my support rock. I prayed daily to God not to take him from me, but God had a different plan. It is a devastating loss for me. The last thing I ever said to him at 9 p.m. when he called me daily was, "I love you." It is a devastating loss for his family and for me. You know, Ellen and Abby, Ryan and Chris, as I listened to and read those beautiful words, what came to mind was the play Hamilton. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you have, you know that one of the themes is how to pass on your legacy. And there's a verse in Hamilton in the play that goes through the entire play from beginning to end. Who lives? Who dies? Who will tell your story? Who will keep your flame? And who will remember your name? You will tell his story. You will always keep his flame, and you will always remember his name. El Mole Rachamim, Shochein Bam Romim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, V'Ma'alot Kedoshim V'Tohorim Gezoar Horakia Ma'asirim, Et Nishmat Thomas Simons, Shalach Li Olamo. El Mole Rachamim, O exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Thomas Simons, who has gone unto his eternal home. O merciful one, we ask that he find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And as one united family, let us answer, Amen. And before we conclude, I would like to share with you two Jewish traditions. The first is that we have a belief in our faith in the resurrection of the dead. And it's in one of our most important prayers 3 times a day. And according to tradition, those who will rise first are those who were buried either in the Mount of Olives Cemetery in Jerusalem, which is our holiest cemetery, or under earth from the Mount of Olives Cemetery. So in a moment, with Susan's help, I will place some earth from the Mount of Olives Cemetery onto Thomas's casket. The second is that we have a very poignant tradition that we don't allow strangers to bury our dead. So at the very conclusion of the service, I encourage all of you to symbolically participate in Thomas's burial. It is the last mitzvah, the last good deed that you can do for Thomas Simons without asking anything in return or expecting anything in return. Any way to participate is fine. I will demonstrate the traditional way. We have paper cups, and we take with one paper cup 3 cupfuls of earth and put it on the grave. And we do it 3 times because the first could be by accident, the second could be by coincidence, but the third is a real commitment. Now, the origins of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish, it means holiness, and is in your pamphlets, are very mysterious. Angels are said to have brought it down from heaven. It is the only prayer in our faith that has the power to link the living and the dead. But interestingly enough, if you were to look at the English translation of the Kaddish, there's absolutely no mention of death in our mourner's prayer. Therefore, it causes us to focus on the blessings of life. And Thomas Simons was certainly a blessing in our lives. So if you can, please join together with me. It's in your pamphlets, our mourner's prayer of the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah b'almad divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman koriv yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach li'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'olma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the good Lord, who makes peace in the high heavens, grant peace and comfort to all of you who remember and who mourn Thomas. And again, as one united family, let us answer. Amen. Thanks, sis. As I mentioned, any way to participate is fine. Whatever you do is fine. The traditional way is 3 small touches. And then you, whoops, and then you throw away the cup. Ellen, Abby, Jeff, Adam. Chris. Very well. Hi, very nice. Oh, okay. What's your major? Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Hopefully I won't see you all after. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you do. Okay. Thank you. Your convertible, that's fine. Maybe we'll play on the side. That's fine, yeah. I know it was you. You pulled in my
This concludes the service at the graveside. We'll ask the friends that are watching online to please, you can reach out to the family through our website at Chicago Jewish Funerals or legacy.com to share your condolences and stories. Thank you.